I have this chair in for repair. Three of the stretchers have been eaten by a dog, so there's not much left of them, so I've got to put those back in. The side ones, because it's quite rickety, I can just about splay them out and get them in because the tenons are quite short. The back one I can't, so I'll have to do a different technique for doing that one. But I'll show you how to cut these funny angles at the back, get them right, get those in. Really it needs taking to bits and re-gluing, because it's only going to do that again no matter what you do, unless you sort of take it to bits and clean the joints out and re-glue them properly. I've put a bit of masking tape on to indicate where the top of the rail sits. I'll just line that up with that. Just have a pencil mark at the back. Now I can just set my sliding bevel to that angle and lock it off. This tenon only needs to be a little over 1/2 inch. And just line it back up again. Rest the rule against the leg. So just adjust my sliding bevel again to that angle. Mark that out where it's needed. Measure the mortise. It's just under 10mm, so it's 3/8. I'm just marking out the width of the tenon. This is fairly central, but it's not parallel with the sides, it's square with that line, which is slightly off. The ends of the tenons are rounded off because it's been done with like a slot mortiser. So I'm putting a clamp on here to pull the chair together where it's supposed to be, so I can mark out the length of this rail. So the front one should be square. It's a little bit out. I'm going to keep it square. Probably just the wood's moved over the years. But the edge needs to be the same angle as the other one. Again, these need to be square with that line, not parallel with the side of the rail. So this is the back rail, and there are these pins in. I think they are from the factory. That one's in quite tight. There's a bit of play in that one, so I have to get these out first. So I split it down where the nail is and cracked it and managed to pull each side out. Now I've got to get that nail out. As this is oak and the nail in there is steel, it's rusted in, so I don't think it's going to come out. No. So if I clip it, just break it off. I don't like doing this because I don't like leaving things like this in. It means I can't clean it up with a chisel, get rid of the glue so easily, because I don't want to hit that what remains of that nail. The mortises have been done with a slot mortiser like the side ones, so they have a shoulder on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to chisel the bottom one out. This masking tape indicates the bottom of the rail, so I'll just chisel that out square. Just trying to clean off as much of this glue as possible without hitting that nail. So I've just cut a little bit of, well, this is chestnut, just starting to be something that's lying around. This is the back rail, and I've fitted these loose tenons in. I've had to thin these down because the rail's not that wide anyway and it'd be too thin, so to keep it stronger I've had to take that down a bit. So they'll be glued in either side. And that can be slid in over the top. Like that. So a bit of glue, put some clamps on there, let that go off, and that'll be fine. To use the same method on the side ones, it's not quite the same because the back leg splays out, so there's not as much room above it to get the rail in and drop it down. So the only way to do it is to do it from underneath and push it up, but this will leave the joints showing at the top. If it's a dirty grubby chair like this, you could paint over it to simulate the patination. But it's easy enough just to cut a strip of veneer, put some PVA on, put the veneer on, let it overhang a little bit, bit of greaseproof paper, piece of wood, some clamps on it, let it go off, trim it, sand it, and you'll never know. buzzed a few posi drive screws in the corner blocks to help strengthen it a bit. The webbing's very slack as well, which doesn't help. So I've stained it with Van Dyke crystals, and I sanded it down because it was a little bit too red. Put a coat of walnut stain on it, and then a thin coat of button polish. I've now got to mix up some button polish to get it that colour, which is like a browny black colour. So I'll use vegetable black and burnt umber and mix it in with a little bit of thinned down button polish. So I've given it a couple of coats of that dark polish. Just going to wipe it off with some meths. Just to get the highlights so it matches everything else. Well, it's a good match with the original. Bit of wax and it should look okay.